Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Henry. If this is your first time here, I'm your go-to resource for everything SAP. So if you want to become a six-figure earner in IT, then you're at the right place. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can create a mass upload to support the business requirement. So right here is the SAP system. What I'm going to do here is, first and foremost, I would minimize this and we can talk about a business scenario. Now, a business scenario is basically when the business has a requirement or they have a particular thing that they want to be done in the system. Let's say, for instance, they were in a particular project cycle, right? And then they wanted to upload specific data from one system to another system. That could be a business scenario. So in this example, we're going to be saying that the business scenario is that the business wants to control who can view, edit, or delete material data, basically adding a layer of protection to those material master datas. And the main reason is because, some materials may be considered sensitive and so on and so forth. So the business wants to add some authorization group to that. So they'll walk up to you and say, okay, you're the consultant. Can you help us figure this out within the SAP system? So that's what I'm going to be showing you. But first thing first, I want you guys to see the different master data that you can use to find specific fields that is relevant for, a scenario like an authorization group. So we have different master data tables, such as the MARA tables, which is what we're going to be using in this example. Is the general material data table. There's also the MARC table, which is the plant data for material table. There's the MARD table for the storage location. There's the MAKT for material description, MVKE for sales data for material, MBEW for material valuation, and MLAN for tax classification. So these are all the different tables that are there that you can use, to support the business with regards to maybe a mass upload for a specific field. But in this scenario, we're only going to be paying more attention to the MARA table. Now, that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my SAP screen so we can go perform that transaction. So as you can see right now, this is the SAP screen. And basically, there are a few other transaction codes that you need to be able to get this job done pretty quick. Number one is a transaction code that I like to use a lot. It is the MM60 transaction code. So with this transaction code, you'd be able to see, a group of materials, that maybe the business would like to add a specific mass upload to. Okay. So let's assume, I'm going with this plant RAM1. And basically at the right hand corner of my screen, I'm going to hit on execute, and then it's going to pull up a group of data for me, right? And now I can just directly say, hey, I want to just select, this particular group of materials. I could say, I just want all these ones, Control C, I will copy this. And then the next thing you also just basically need whenever you're doing a mass upload is you need an Excel table, right? So I'm going to open up this Excel table that I have here. And I would say I want to put in my tables. And I want to just go ahead and paste all that material that I copied, right? In the Material Master world, right, specifically for Material Master record, the table name or the table field or the label name, there are different names, but basically the label name, when I say label name, I'm talking about the field labels or the field name would always be MANTR, Matner. This is what classifies the material number. So you can see all of these different material number records. So I'm just going to put it here because SAP would read this particular, I would say, technical name, the field name, to be able to realize the mapping into the SAP system. So this is one aspect of it. We want to also make sure that we have the other field name. So let's just go back into the SAP system to go figure out what that field name will be. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and back out of this screen. And then the next transaction code I'm going to be using to figure out that field name is going to be SE16. I like this transaction code a lot as well because it is the data browser transaction code. I can see all the different tables with fields, whatever I want to look for. So again, like I said, we're going to be paying more attention to MARA for this example because it's just the general material data table. So you should have what we're looking for. So when I go in here, remember on my Excel screen, there are a group of different materials. I'll just go with the first one. The first one says 2213. And 2213, I'll just go ahead and execute. So that way, it takes me into, my screen. So now this is my screen. This is my Matner. This is the material number for 2213. And I'll double click and go into all the fields. So right now I can see everything is just in field names. I might not really be able to identify what the authorization group is. But if I go click on more and then go to settings and then go to user parameters, I can always change it to my field labels, just like what I was saying field labels earlier on. And in here, what happens is it would change all those field names into field labels. So if I scroll all the way to the bottom, I should be able to find, the authorization group that I want to make a specific change to. And this is it, authorization group, right? This authorization group is what we want to do a mass upload for in this example. You can do mass upload for anything, depending on the business requirements, business scenario, you can do a mass upload, but this is what we're paying more attention to in this video. Right now, I cannot use authorization group because the field label is not what SAP would be able to read for mapping. It would only have to be, a field name. So I will just go back here to my user parameters and say, hey, I need a field name. And it's going to change everything back to a technical name. All I need to do is just to go all the way to the bottom. And then when I get there, which is this, so this is actually the information that I need, BEGRU. Okay, so I'm supposed to put BEGRU in here. But assuming, maybe I don't want to put BEGRU, I want to deliberately fail and, mistakenly put in something else. Now we're going to see what SAP is going to do, if SAP is going to still read this or it's going to completely fail and give us an error. So that's one of the scenarios I want us to learn in this particular video. So for this, I'm just going to say maybe T001, assuming that is the authorization group information that the business is providing to me. I'll just go ahead and put that in there. And I'll just autofill for the other material numbers. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to directly try to save this document because we're going to be needing it very soon. So I'll just give it like, a name that I can always remember for what we are trying to create here. So after that, the next thing I want to do is I'm just going to go ahead and say save and download a copy of this into the system. And that has happened here. Now, remembering that what we're basically just trying to do is want to learn how we can mass upload a material master field for that particular, authorization group, which is actually the BEGRU. That's it. That's the field name in SAP. All right. So going back to the SAP screen, what I'm going to do is BEGRU. So I'm just going to back out of this screen and back out of that screen again. And finally, returning me back to the SAP Easy Access screen. And by the way, if you're still watching this video and you want to advance and upskill your SAP career, join my mentorship masterclass coming up in February this year, 2025, where I'm going to be teaching and showing you all the ABC to SAP and how you can become a six-figure earner working from home. And please go ahead, like and subscribe and be the first to, get all the videos that I'm going to be sharing here, everything you need to know about becoming an SAP consultant, working from home, wherever you're located. Going back to the process here, the next transaction code that I'll be needing is transaction code either MM17 or transaction code MASS. They pretty much do the same thing. It just depends on how you're using it. So MM17 is where I'm going to right now. Hit enter on my keyboard. And this is it right here. So within the screen, remember we're talking about Mara, correct? So we're just going to stay focused on that because this is our general material data table. And the field that we want to do a mass upload is located in this particular table for the authorization group. So the downside of the tables right here is you cannot upload information into multiple tables. So if I click on import data file, it's going to throw me an error message at the bottom of my screen and say, specify just one table or field from one specific table. So that's the downside with that. Otherwise, if you're going to be using the fields, maybe there are specific fields that you want to work with here. Let's say maybe like the delete, client level material information. You can select multiple fields if you wanted to, use this for, maybe like to import data and so on and so forth. As you can see, it enables me to do that. But this is not what we're doing today. In another video, I'm going to be showing us something with regards to that. So, but for this one, I'll just go ahead and select, the general material data for Mara, and then I'm going to click on import data from my file. And this is the information that we just stored in the Excel. So I'm going to say open. And then also just make sure that you remember that we completely failed by not entering the correct information deliberately for the authorization group, because I want to see what SAP is going to do. So I'll just say upload with header line, and then I'll say execute. And it's trying to access my Excel file. I'll give it access. I'll say allow. And then what the system is doing right now is it's basically just trying to read the data from my system. And on the back end, it has created an Excel upload sheet. And as you can see right here, it has populated this information. Hence, this is the same information that is in here. All right. So just looking at the screen right now, what I'm seeing is there's two icons here that is telling me that, there's probably a problem. So when you see this diamond icon, is saying unusable columns executed by the application, and also for this one. So if we want to find out what the issue is, we can just directly click on this line and it's going to pull this up. So if you already know that the correct name for this field is MANR, MANTNR, as opposed to MANTR that I put in. So I completely, put in two wrong fields so that we can see what is going to happen. So all you need to do is just select the correct field, and then SAP corrects it, and then it gives you this other icon that says that it has now been able to read that particular mapping for the field, and it has returned to the SAP application correctly. And this one is still unable to be used, right? Also click on this, and then all you need to do is use your search binoculars glasses, and then you can go search the correct field for the authorization group, which is BEGRU. Continue. And then it says heat displayed 1. And there it is for authorization group. So once you select that, now it is all good. You can see that the icons have completely changed. They're now all good. And the next thing that I'm going to be doing right now is just to go ahead and say continue. So once I say continue, as you can see, it has now uploaded, all the correct information into the SAP system. They now do have authorization group. Before now, they didn't have authorization group. If I click on the old values, now you can see that there wasn't any value in the first place, but now this is the new value. There wasn't also any value here in the first place, and now this is the new value. So the materials now have authorization group values from what we have done. And all I need to do is hit save. Once I hit save, it will now bring up this warning message at the very bottom of the screen and says, do you want to save changes, yada, yada, yada. And I'm just going to say yes. Go ahead and save. And as you can see, it's saving changes. And to the left side icon, you can see that the material maintenance status has now been complete. When you see this green light here, it just basically means that it passed. If it didn't pass, it's going to give a fail. But now it's all passed, and you can see all the material numbers that have now been issued with their different, authorization group. And that's pretty much how you can perform this. Also, one last thing you can see on this side, there's no error, there's no warning, and information. All 7 materials has been uploaded. In another video, I'm going to take some time and show us a different kind of mass upload, but this is a very easy way to do mass upload. It saves you time as opposed to going into each material and trying to make sure you maintain the authorization group or any field that you're trying to maintain. Imagine if you have 10,000 data that the business wants you to, basically make changes to. A mass upload comes in really, really handy, and it's very easy to do. And, go ahead, like and subscribe and be the first, to see my SAP related content, for free. You're going to be also watching videos like day in the life, scenario based Q&A questions like this one. And, if you want to become a part of our community, where I share SAP job opportunities with you and help you, become a 6-figure earner, IT person in 2025, I recommend watching the next video, subscribing to this channel, and staying tuned. Thank you.